Welcome to Shopping with Priscilla! Introducing your host, the beautiful and talented Priscilla! New products shown every hour that will make your existing products outdated in minutes. She'll like, she'll cheat, she'll do whatever it takes to get you to dial in and buy. Over to you, Priscilla! Priscilla! We're live! Priscilla! Take it away!
Thank you, Andrew. Welcome to the shopping channel. I'm your host, Priscilla, and today we have a very exciting product to introduce you all to. It's the first of its kind, never done before. Our company is the first to ever introduce a forever battery. Batteries that last forever. Now, you no longer need to dispose of your batteries, you can just recharge your batteries. Our company is the only company you can get this brand new idea from. And for the low price of just $49.99, you'll be thanking us. So, if you're interested in purchasing, call in now on 0800 blah 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 blah. Lines are open now. Oh, Andrew, I think we've got our first call. Hello, caller number one.
Hi, Rebecca speaking from The Worldly Vegan. So you do realise that your company isn't the first company to do rechargeable batteries, right? Like, they've been around for years, companies just don't promote them because
I'm not sure what you mean.
batteries are going to make them the most profit, so this is all we ever see in TV adverts.
Andrew.
You do realise that, right?
Hello? Hello? But anyway, you get my point, right? Thank you for Priscilla for showing my point, which leads us into today's topic, and that's 4 low waste, zero waste ideas that you may not have thought of. So, as exhibited then, the first concept is rechargeable batteries, and as shown, they have actually been around for years, which I've only just recently come across them in the past couple of months. I had no idea they even existed, but then it kind of makes sense because looking at adverts recently, now that I'm aware of it, battery adverts, they always try and promote like that their battery is the longest lasting, and they're always like racing and competing with the other batteries. Like, that's the general gist of the majority of battery adverts. So in your mind, it kind of sets that mindset that batteries are just disposable. I'm sure some people have been aware of these, but just in case you weren't aware, rechargeable batteries do exist. Yes, initially they come packaged in plastic, but ultimately you're not having to repurchase and repurchase and repurchase and repurchase. You're not sending unnecessary things to landfill. Even if you do recycle them, even that would be unavoidable if you use these instead. The initial cost is maybe double, but then ultimately they'd be lasting you years and years and years and years. So it's a lot more cost efficient as well. I dread to think how many hundreds of pounds over the years I've actually spent on batteries. I don't even want to think about it. But yeah, in case you weren't aware, rechargeable batteries are a thing. The actual charger is able to charge both like AA and AAA batteries. You can also get those big square ones. I don't know the names of those, but you can also find rechargeable options of those. So thank you, Forever Battery. So that was the first thing that you may not have thought of. Now, the next zero waste idea that you may not have thought of was to have a specifically allocated place for all of your containers that you collect, from like food containers. I've got it all in this little handy basket, because in the past when I was collecting my empty food glass jars and things like that, I would just put them in a cupboard and they would just look like clutter. So I would rather recycle them than have them cluttering up my kitchen. But I figured I'd rather keep them because they definitely come in useful. I just take the labels off and give them a wash so that they've not got the sticky stuff on. And I do find that I do reuse them. And that way I'm not purchasing unnecessary, like Pinterest-esque containers. I already have them at hand. So I think this was a lime pickle container at one time. This was a spice container, coffee container. You get the idea. And there's some actually really pretty stuff that I've saved as well. I've no idea what I'm going to be using these for. These were originally candles, but I'm sure if I'm regifting something, these may come in useful further down the line. And I thought it would be a waste to throw these kind of things away. And I'm relishing in the idea of how much money I'm actually saving from this all. This, I think, this is when I had my hair transplant. We got given a spray bottle because you had to spritz your hair. So I've just since reused that. Like, you can literally reuse anything. But the concept is finding a specifically allocated place for your reusable jars so that you're less likely to get frustrated with all the clutter and just throw them away. This, I think, was a probiotic drink at some point. I'm sure I'll find a use for that. And these have come in really useful. So another side note to this is that any like used up beauty products and things like that, you can actually reuse for your travel bag. So oftentimes, accidentally, when I'm purchasing something, I'll get a free sample of something that comes in like a plastic thing, and I've since reused those for my travel items. So reusing the jars always come in useful, and now I'm not OCD at the fact that they're just cluttering up a cupboard. They now have a specifically allocated place, so I can just dip into and have a look what will be most appropriate for the thing that I'm trying to contain. And I know exactly where they are now, rather than searching things out. They're all in one place. So that was the next idea. The next zero waste concept that I thought of came about when I was trialling a load of shampoo bars, solid shampoo bars, trying to be good, not buy plastic bottles. But Lush ones are expensive in my mind, so I was trialling a load of cheap ones that I'd found elsewhere, and I found that it just didn't do my hair any good. Like, my hair was really like stodgy and stiff from using these cheaper ones, and then they were just lying about the bathroom doing nothing. So rather than discarding some half-used shampoo bars, I figured I could make them into something. So I made them into hand wash. I just can't get along with soap bars, they just get all squishy, so you can alternatively use soap bars as well if you're just not getting along with them and you feel bad throwing them away. Just turn it into hand wash. You don't need to use anything fancy, you don't need to buy a specifically allocated dispenser, just use what you have. On this occasion, this is a body wash bottle, and I've just written hand over body, just in case people get confused, guests or whatsoever. And I just heat it up in a pan with, on this occasion this is 450 ml, so with 450 ml water, dropped in the shampoo bar that just didn't do me well, and then just dropped in a few essential oils of my choice so that it's smelling how I want it to smell, and then I just pop it into this and it's good to go. So I'm not buying any unnecessary packaging, and I'm giving something a new life that would have otherwise just gone stodgy and sticky and probably just discarded in the end otherwise. And that way I've not wasted my money either, trialling all these new shampoos and soaps. So that's an idea for any failed soap adventures that you may have experienced. And then the last idea is, obviously one concept with your clothes is to like repair them if they get damaged, but just extending on that is to dye your clothes. So with jeans especially, I've noticed a lot of people throw them away and spend upwards of like £40 on new jeans, particularly black jeans in particular, just because they've faded in colour. And that was a norm to me in the past as well. But then I figured, like, wait, I don't even want to be spending this money. It's annoying that they faded, but I don't want to spend that money. They look perfectly fine aside from that. So I figured I could just dye them. So I've started dyeing my clothes. Similarly with trying not to consume or buy too much. I know what I like by now. I think I'm very settled in my fashion style. So particularly with tops in particular. So I have this top as an example. I have this in white, black, grey, and I wanted it in khaki green as well, but I couldn't find it anywhere. And I didn't want to buy and make my way through just loads of different similar variations, because I know that just hasn't worked for me in the past and they just end up being discarded. So I figured I had a white top spare just hanging about, because I buy multiples of whites. That's the only thing I buy multiples of. And I decided to dye it the colour I wanted. So I got the exact style and cut that I wanted, but in the exact colour that I wanted, so I didn't compromise. And I managed to find what I think is plastic free dye. It comes in like a cardboard and aluminium mix packaging, which I'll link down below. I think it's called Victoria. I don't know which is the lesser of two evils. I think it comes from abroad, so obviously it would travel via flight. Ultimately, it's your discretion whether you want to buy plastic dye versus cardboard dye, but that's the best resolution I've found so far. Just dye it yourself. It takes a bit of trial and error, because I don't know if you can see, maybe this one's a bit patchy, but I've improved since then. I've been dyeing loads of stuff since then. So that is my other suggestion, is to dye your clothes and as a result get a new lease or new life out of your old or existing clothes. And I'm really pleased with that find of mine. Then I would have literally been buying item after item after item, trying to find a specific colour that I want with this specific style, when I know full well this is basically the most basic top that I wear on a regular basis. So it's in my best interest to have a variety of colours, just for the sake of switching it up. Anyway, that was my 4 suggestions of zero waste ideas that you may not have thought of. And thank you once again to Priscilla for showing my point. Until next time, I'll see you again. Oh, Andrew, get me a cuppa.